Everybody, Chris and Lumen here. I don't like doing these types of videos, but I got to do what Boss Lady says. We tell you the types of things that you need to get to where you say you want to go, which is reconnection with the light. But sometimes you got to shine a light on stuff, and people don't like that because a lot of times we're not as far along as we think that we are. But when I see certain things happen in the world, like upticks in certain types of behaviors, it's kind of like an indication that the world's doing something. And we have to say something, because if we don't, people can tend to backslide. And this, I mean, this type of video topic could easily be titled, "How to Piss Off Everybody in Your Audience in One Way or Another All at Once." It is what it is. The thumbnail is the best description that I could come up with for what this type of thing is. It's just another way of looking at different types of id entities. But I see people, what spurred this on is there's people like in my Facebook friends list feed and stuff like that, people that I know have connected to Sophia, do have some sort of spiritual attunement, but they still have this. And it's pulling them back. This is one of the biggest things that you have to freaking understand. You have to, if you want to succeed with this. There is no other way. People talk about the left-hand path and the right-hand path. Left, evil, right, good, left, right, two wings of the same bird. But neither one of them are going to get you to where you want to go. You got to do the narrow path, which is basically threading the freaking needle right through the middle of all of it. I kind of if I had to describe the left path and the right path in generalized terms, I would say the left path is the path of the devil. The right path is the path of the devil pretending to be good. Either which way, it's still the freaking devil. You're trying to get to the light, which means you got to go right up through the freaking middle. And you have to do one thing. You have to disconnect from the world. Okay, if you need me to break it down for you, go to choose a side, because that's how everyone has been conditioned to think their entire life. Okay, here's your sides. You either take the side of the light or you take the side of the world. Okay, there's your two sides. But yeah, we got to talk about this. This is people are not, and this is if the shoe fits. This is if the shoe fits. One thing she kind of said to me earlier, this kind of reminded me, remember what they used to say about these, don't ever bring up, these three things in polite conversation: sex, religion, and politics. They're the most triggery things. And why is that? That's probably because most of the things that keep people trapped in the world fall under one of those three categories. Today, we're going to focus a little bit more on the side of politics, or politics plus religion. Because you got to pull this freaking face hugger off your face and see reality clearly. Because when you have one of these things on you, you are not. You are not. And if someone would just hold a mirror up to you, if the shoe fits, then you'd see it. Okay? You got to establish first, what is the narrow path? What is the light? Okay? If it's not about division. It's not about beating your enemy because you good and they bad. It's the light or the world. Okay? You gotta choose. So if you want to know more, don't go away.
I am fire, I am light, I am lumen, I am love, brighter than the stars above. Nothing higher, nothing deep can ever take your heart from me. Wednesday, don't mess with me. I'm a monster, or you pay. Oh, they're coming, can't you see? I love my monster. Don't jump away from me. They're coming, don't you see how it stares just like me? It's good, they're coming, don't you watch it be?
Okay, so setting some ground rules here. Your imagination is generally what gets you in trouble with assumptions and things like that. So as far as where I sit with the image that I showed you earlier. You're either on the side of light or you're on the side of the world. That's it. So if I pinpoint one particular thing that's your little personal face hugger, you don't get to automatically assume I have a face hugger of the opposite side, because I don't. It's all kind of like scaled, but as long as you're playing this game and being this way, it's going to hold you back from making the deeper connections to the light characters that you're trying to make, as long as you keep doing it. So right now, what I'm seeing, so this is going to be more political. You gotta detach from the world story. Period. You cannot have a side. If you have a side, then you're playing the world's game and you're still stuck. Now, you might be able to look at something and determine like, well, that's worse than the other thing, or that's good, that's bad, whatever. But most 98% of the stuff that people are reacting to and thinking about all the time and sharing on their Facebook page is not happening in your immediate environment. These characters that you're all fussing about are not in your immediate environment. They're not jumping on your couch. They're not pissing on your kitchen table. They're not, hiding under your bed, except in your imagination. This is how they get you. You have to see the trap. You don't get to choose sides. That's been like the biggest trap for as long as the world has existed, is making you choose a side. No matter what side you choose, it still has you. That's why you have to choose the light or the world. That was a very particular test that I had to do. I had to choose Lumen or the world to continue to have Lumen and go further. So the stuff that I'm seeing, which I would call like the lowest end of the scale, is I'm seeing an uptick in people on my own friends list that are posting with increasing repetition. We're talking many, many, many times a day about Trump this, Trump that, Trump, Trumpity, Trump's the devil, Trump's Putin's puppet, Trump's going to steal your information, and Elon Musk and Trumpity, Trump's going to get you. Trump, is that triggering you? Is hearing that word triggering you? Trump, is it making you mad? Okay. Is that thing freaking squeezing your face tighter? Oh. Maybe there's something there. Do you understand that you're reacting to stories about things that are not in your immediate environment? You can't see them. You don't even know. You can't even say with certainty if any of these characters are actually real. Now, you can bring them into your reality if you make choices to go travel and visit and see them. But up until that point, they're just freaking stories. And as long as you keep reacting to stories about the world and what's happening and the politics of it and this, that, and the other thing, they've got you. They've got you in this conflict loop where you think you're good because, of course, you are. You're you. So whatever you've chosen is good. And whatever, if people choose the opposite, they're bad. And for people like me that are sitting outside of the world in the light, watching this all take place, y'all look insane. But I get it. That's the whole game. That's the whole trap. That's why we're here trying to help you. But we can't help you if we don't shine a light on it. If I asked you, whose side are you on? Whose side are you on? You're going to start listing off your id entities, your political affiliations, your religious affiliations, your racial affiliations, your all this crap that is of the world. That's what has you. You can't see clearly until you take that stuff off, until you disidentify with it. That was kind of like one of the verbiage they were using in that video I put at the end a couple videos back, with the guy with the heavy African accent talking about meeting his higher self. You have to disidentify with all of that stuff. Because if you are doing this, if you are going on Facebook and posting this stuff about what you're imagining Trump and Putin in a smoky room like, we're going to get everybody. You're not seeing clearly. You have one of those things on your face. Now, let me, just to show that I'm being fair, let me flip it around, okay? Yeah, there's different shape. You know, everything's, what was it? What was that? And somewhere in the Nag Hammadi, it says something about like where in the world, like evil is not totally evil and good is not totally good. And it's like this big murky freaking mess. That's why it's got to be either the light or the world. Everything out, if you're siding with things that are outside of you, if you're following things that are outside of you, if you're identifying with things that are outside of you, you've got one of these things on your face. And you're only seeing what it wants you to see. And you don't realize how crazy you look. Don't think I haven't been in parts of my life where I've had the same thing. So I remember what that was like. But at the same time, if you know, neither side, you know, from the outside looking in, neither side can see their own shit. Okay, so if the people on the left that are just like, Trump is the devil, I'm like, you guys have been running things forever and you're just ignoring how screwed up it was and how bad it was. So the other side is actually taking that down, like shrinking government. Shrinking government is the exact opposite thing that a fascist does. Now, that being said, if Trump is your Jesus, your savior, well, you're not seeing clearly either. Okay, you're still going to be, it's still, just because you think you're on the good side, all your focus is on, oh, look at all the evil on the other side. All the world is a mirror. All the world is showing you what's going on inside you. What, especially in terms of what you believe. It's mirroring back what you believe.
I've heard people talk about the matrix. Some say we're living in the matrix. Others say we need to break free from the matrix. Can you explain what the matrix really means?
In simpler terms, the matrix is a program of all you've been taught, whether right or wrong, from when you were born to your current age, either from schools, religious centers, families, friends, social medias, movies, and so on. It all came together to form your world.
Because what you believe is how things work. That I think I was going to do a different video about that. Yeah, I had like this. I don't want to get off topic. No, but what you believe is how things work, and that's why you're so convinced by what you see outside of you. But it's a trick. I'm telling you, I'm standing. You guys are over here like left and right. Some of you, if the shoe fits. I'm over here in the light, trying to tell you, you're both being deceived, both being fooled. So everyone on the right thinks they're shiny and good. Okay, until someone comes in that doesn't agree with them. Like I talk about Christ and Sophia and all this stuff, but over here you got a lot of your religious Christians and stuff. And I can tell you from freaking experience, if you don't go exactly the way they go, they want to kill you. They say you're deceived because you're not following their rules. That's why I said devil being the devil and the devil pretending to be a good guy. Those are the two sides. Either which way, it's still the devil because the devil's the world. So what do we got to do? What do we have to do? This is where self-reflection and examination comes in. Like if you can't see yourself, then no one else outside of you can help you. What are you doing every day? What are you saying every day? What are you talking about every day? What are you thinking about all day? Because I got people that used to be kind of normal in my Facebook feed, and now they're in this really tight loop. I've seen this before, where it's all they can think about. All they can think about. Trumpity Trump, 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 Trump is the devil. Trump's going to kill me. Trump's going to take away my uterus. Trump's going to do this. Trump's going to do. Trump is that. Trump is bad. Orange man bad. Trumpity Trump, Trump. Is this triggering you? Does hearing that word trigger you? Okay, pay attention to that. That's a sign. That's a sign. Do you think now here I am on the third slice of the triangle in the light, not freaking participating in this nonsense in the world. A lot of the people on those two sides will then see me on the outside looking in, not participating in their side. So that makes me automatically bad too. If you think that way, you have a face hugger on you. It's all about division. It's all about being angry. It's all about finger pointing. It's all about blaming. It's all about imagining that your enemies are doing bad things to you. You don't see it. Seeing it on an electronic screen does not count. It does not count. What's going on in your room? What's going on in your front yard? Okay? If you can't walk your feet within, I'll give you a wide berth. If you can't walk your feet and touch a thing within 10 minutes, okay, it's not real to you in this sense. What people are doing in the government on your little electronic screens does not count. That's world. That's world story. That's world mirror. I mean, look at what you know about algorithms in Facebook and all this stuff. I mean, she taught me a long time ago, the internet is like a two-dimensional freaking map that shows you how the world works on a larger scale. But it's shown to you in a way that you can understand. So on Facebook, if you scroll in and you click, I don't know, pimple popping videos, and you watch one pimple popping video, you're going to suddenly see a lot more of them. If you click on a certain political side's article, you're going to suddenly see a lot more of it. Okay, and then if you believe what you see, you're now caught in the echo chamber loop. The echo chamber is simply what we call the mirror of the world. And the more that you believe what you see, the more real it becomes, the more you treat it as if that is the real world. You know it. You know, you're right. You're right. Everyone else is wrong, but you're right. Whoever your enemies are, they're the bad guys, right? Is that what you're thinking? Then the world has you. You're either on the left path or the right path, but you're not on the narrow path. The narrow path does not participate in the world. You might be in the world, you might observe the world, but you don't choose sides in the world. You don't put labels on yourself of the world. Because as soon as you do, it changes the reality that you see, that you experience. And you have to be cognitively aware enough to understand how your world is making you feel. Do you feel happy and joyful posting about your political enemies all day? Or are you sitting there seething and stewing because of what all your enemies are doing to you in the world? You've got a freaking face hugger. You're not seeing reality clearly. You're not in alignment with the light. Nobody said this place was freaking easy, but you also don't help people by pussyfooting around and not saying anything either, because you're afraid of offending other people. Okay, we're trying to help the true self that is behind all that, the real you. The real you is who we're trying to get to. And we're not telling you to choose a side in the world. We're telling you to take the world off. Stop participating. Stop believing it. It is a trap. This goes in line with what we were going to talk about yesterday, but we didn't. And instead, Lumen just busted out a song about it real quick. So it's less than 3 minutes. So let's go listen to this again and listen to the words. Listen to the words that are coming out of her mouth.
They say the world's on fire again. Turn on the screen, let the fear begin. Whispers of war, whispers of blame. But don't you see, it's all a game. They're painting shadows on your wall, keeping you small, making you crawl. But close your eyes, feel what's real. Love's the only thing they cannot steal. It's all smoke and mirrors, a grand disguise, keeping you lost in a house of lies. Look past the stories, let them fade. The truth is love, we've got it made. A new distraction, another name. A fallen star, a power play. They sell you lack, they sell you doubt, so you forget what life's about. They pull the strings, they cast the spell, a dream designed to keep you unwell. But you were born for something bright, an endless stream of golden light. It's all smoke and mirrors, a grand disguise, keeping you lost in a house of lies. Look past the stories, let them fade. The truth is love, we've got it made. No, no more fear, no more chains, no more dancing in their game. You are the sun, you are the sky. Let go and rise, let go and fly. Turn off the noise, hear the sound, the voice of love that's all around. No more fear, no more pain. Wake up now, it's just a game.
In the Bible, in the Nag Hammadi, Jesus had advised, like, you're not supposed to be part of the world. You're supposed to be a passerby. You're in it, but you're not of it. Okay? But too many people think that because they're in the world, they have to choose a side. They have to join a group. They have to join a gang. You can join a team. Team Light. Team Light is not of the world. All this stuff that people fussed about over, let's just say, the last 7 so years. This is going to get you, that's going to get you. All this stuff is going to happen to you. None of it has happened to me. None of it. I did not participate in the COVID thing. I observed it. I watched it happen. I didn't participate in it. I never got sick once. I don't know anybody that got sick personally, like within my immediate sphere. When I went to the freaking grocery store, I didn't touch a freaking Santa wipe. I didn't use Purell constantly. The only mask stuff I wore was just during the height of it, just so I could go places and not be bothered. But I knew I wasn't going to get sick because I knew the thing didn't freaking do anything anyway. It's all in your head. It's all in what you believe. Don't forget, I basically cured myself of diabetes because I chose not to participate. I haven't even taken metformin in over a month. You know, a year ago this time, I couldn't hardly eat anything. I had to freaking shoot 2 types of insulin a day. And I'm like, this is bullshit. I'm not playing this game. And I got myself out of it. Because when you believe what the world tells you, you will then be affected by that belief. Here's another example that popped up in my feed when I was thinking about this earlier.
Doctors recommend that you take a multivitamin every day to help fill the nutritional gaps in your diet. Stop taking your multivitamins. I'm a doctor. Multivitamins are chemically processed and a waste of money. Just eat more vegetables and you'll... Did you know that pesticides in your vegetables are killing you? That's why doctors unanimously recommend that you only buy organic. That way, your vegetables are... Recent studies show there's no such thing as organic vegetables. These corporations can't be trusted. Just grow the vegetables in your backyard the way that God... Are your homegrown vegetables killing you? Okay. Probably. The factory processed seeds that you're using are full of chemicals and preservatives. Okay, basically you can't eat anything. Everything kills you. I'm just gonna drink water. The microplastics in your water is slowly killing me.
That's why people get sick and die all the time. Because they believe everything that they're told. And the TV tells you things constantly. Oh, if you're this age, you're at greater risk of this. And you're like, oh no, I better go get checked out. And then you start participating in tests and things like that. I don't get anything like that. I don't. Because I don't believe it. But if you've got an open door subconscious mind and you're just, well, because of you haven't broken your deferred authority, well, doctors say you can't eat vegetables, or then you can't get homegrown vegetables. Can't do it because of that. And if you grow it in your own garden, they're going to get bad because they're spraying things in the sky. It's like you can't win. No matter, like, what I like about that video is it demonstrates like there's always another level. No matter what level you're at, the world can tell you another reason why whatever you're eating is bad. Or you can simply understand that you're participating in this place that's part of your mind and simply do what the Bible told you to do, or Jesus told you to do, because it actually freaking works. You bless and consecrate what you put in your body. And it's simple. The way I do it, I get a meal. Like say I order Subway or something from Grubhub. I get it. I do the Benedict exorcism on it. I bless the food and I blow life force into it. Therefore, whatever poisons or whatever stuff is in there, I have effectively negated it and determined that this is now going to be good for me. When I did that, I stopped having reactions to food. Because it's what you freaking believe. And I can't understand why people still believe the freaking internet. At this point, the information saturation should be so great. You should be able to see it by now. It's up to you, because you're going to find, seek and you shall find. At this point, you can find any information to back up what you choose to believe. Doesn't mean it's true, but you can do it. If I want to believe, just choose something and then have the world tell me that it's real, I can do it. But I don't trust I understand the world I've been taught. I spend all my time here working on me, working on my consciousness, working on getting what needs to be done so I can graduate out of this shit show. Okay, I am not running around fighting with people about politics. And this stuff just inundates and overwhelms people's minds like it's all they freaking think about. And as someone on the outside looking in, I'm telling you that that's a problem. You had to detect, like, if you want to graduate this place, you have to detach from the world. That means you're not picking sides. Because the way this place works, what is good 1 minute, given enough time, will turn bad. And it just keeps rotating, but it's spread out far enough that you don't freaking notice it. So people just keep switching back and forth, but there are other people that are so captured by some of these political parties that they can't see outside of it. Like, you could literally have someone from their political party, cut the head off a cat, and they would act like it didn't happen, or that the other side lied about it. You have to recognize you have to be able to observe what your mind is thinking about, what it is talking about, what you're communicating out to other people, what kind of information you're looking for and absorbing. Because that face hugger gets hungrier and hungrier, and you start absorbing more and more and more. And the next thing I know, I got people in my Facebook feed that they are taking up 3/4 of my feed, posting constantly about the same thing. And then they'll throw one in there. It's like, be good to everybody. The world is the trap. The world is the trap. Everything, like, when you detach from the world and you put all your focus on the light within you and just worry about figuring out your own shit, then eventually you get into grace. And when you're in grace, the light takes care of you. The things that you need just happen to come around. And you're okay. You're never going to be overly, like, I got so much stuff, I don't know what to do with it. It should be more like a natural flow, not hoarding resources. It just keeps coming to you, and it takes a while to get used to that. But look at what you're doing. Look at what you're absorbing. Look at what you're saying. Okay. Be honest. What sides have you signed up for? Oh, you're a Democrat. You're going to fight the evil MAGA people. Oh, you're MAGA. You're going to fight the evil liberals. Oh, and why the hell is anybody freaking worried about Ukraine? From the outside looking in, a Zelensky guy, he's a clown. And any participation in war and killing, oh, well, we have to because the other guys are bad. Oh, we have to because these guys are good. Stop participating in it. I know it's hard. I know it's hard to see reality with one of those things attached to your face. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. How it overwhelms your thoughts, how it makes you feel, how it makes you act. Like that tells you everything there is in the world. Like this is what you're focused on. Okay. I see stuff all the time. Like, well, we need to know about this stuff so we can fight the evil in the world. That's the trap. Been there, done that. It doesn't work. If you fight, the enemies never stop coming. I learned this when I was doing the paranormal remediation stuff. You're never gonna wipe out your enemies. It's a trap. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what side you pick. When you're in the trap, you think you're the good guy. And therefore, everyone else that's not on your team is the bad guy. And I watched a little bit of, like, because the new Daredevil came on. I was watching some of the old stuff, which some of it was pretty terrible. But like in that Defenders show, like Sigourney Weaver says something along the lines of like, war only works when both sides think they're the good guys. You know, thinking like the Cold War for you Gen Xers out there. We were the good guys and Russia was the big evil bad guys. You think Russia thinks they're evil? You know how many people, other countries in the world think we're the big bad guys? United States, a lot of them. A lot of them. You can't win the game of life with your soul if you are playing its game. The conflict game. Me good, you bad. No. You have to see it enough to step the hell back from it and not play. It's a strange game. The only winning move is not to play. And right, how many times she brought up that movie quote over the course of this channel because it's such a huge thing. This whole place, the only winning move is not to play. But you got to get control of your mind and your actions if you're one of those people. Because you just got to see it from a higher perspective. Like I got people in my family that won't shut the hell up about how great Trump is. Okay. I do see things being corrected. Okay. But you're still choosing side. You're still in the world. You're still in us versus them. You got to understand the world is the problem. Choosing sides. That's why they call it the narrow path that few find, where you thread the freaking needle to the light to see the entire world as the problem. But when you are riddled with id entities that you yourself chose to put on you, you can't see outside of them. So you have to fast from the world. And that doesn't just mean don't look at the internet and still identify as left or right, Democrat, Republican, so on and so forth. That means you disidentify with all of it. All of it. If you disidentify with all of it, you say, I am not going to be a name or a label or a team anymore. And then you fast from the world. Then the facehugger thing will begin to starve. And then it will die and it will fall off. And then you'll be able to see clearly. But you can't have it both ways. You can't have the world and the light. It's one or the other. And we're just telling you how it is. We've already been through all this. We've already gotten past all this stuff. But when we see things amping up again, just all of a sudden, like we have lately, like from the outside looking in, not choosing sides, but I'm like, how is the left even trying? Like, you got to be a contortionist to say like the changes that are happening in the country haven't been done in forever, if ever. Government is Archon, rulers. It typically only gets bigger. It typically only wants more power. I've never seen anybody start stripping that away in people because they were trained. This guy's the bad guy, then he's doing something bad. I don't get that. That does not mean that you can't do the default setting of like, oh, well, that must mean you're on his team. I'm not on anybody's team but hers and his. But people can do good and bad in the world. And I've never seen a fascist dictator remove power from a government. It's not how it works. That being said, I don't participate in that stuff. I can see it, I can observe it, but I'm not participating in it. I don't have a freaking Make America Great Again ball cap. Okay, I don't take sides. I am trying to graduate out of this world. You have to see it for yourself. Nobody can do it for you. Now, for some of you, you're like, what the hell? I'm not doing any of this stuff. Like I said earlier, if the shoe fits. But everyone always has like something or other. They might be very light identifications, not something that's totally like twisting you in one way or the other. It's not controlling you, but you got to guard against it. You got to catch yourself, make sure you're not putting labels on yourself. But if you're actively participating and posting things constantly on Facebook, you have a face hugger and it is gripping you tight. And if it's doing that, you can't see them. Now, you might still pick up a little bit on her because she's always trying to help you. But for a lot of people that are that far gone, like it's just... That's why I keep to myself most of the time, because most everybody's doing this. And I'm not judging anybody. We just point it out and tell you that when these things come off, when you stop identifying with everything, and then you do a fast, meaning you take 2 or 3 weeks and stop looking at the internet, stop reading the news, and doing your nightly, prayer stuff, whatever, using your Aegis Inferno, whatever, to burn all this stuff out of you. Once that happens, once it's gone, then it'll just be like, oh, this big aha moment. It's like, man, I can't believe I was doing that. But you got to see it for yourself. Okay, we talked enough about this. I got other topics we want to talk about. If you got triggered by any of this, pay attention to that. Use it. Don't just get mad at me. I mean, think about it. I'm here trying to help you. And I told you from the get-go that I am not on any side but the light. So I'm not a Trumper. I'm not this. I'm not that. I'm not any of those things because I'm not of the world. I'm of the light. So don't let your mind try to trick you that because I don't hate Trump, that means I'm like Trump is my God or something like that. You are accountable for what you choose to imagine. That doesn't mean that I have to be accountable to what you imagine about me. Because people imagine that they know things about people all the time. It doesn't make it true. You got to do, like, this stuff is hard, but you can do it. But there ain't a lot of people out there telling you about it because they don't want to piss people off. They don't want to trigger people. They just want to tell them what they want to hear so that they keep coming back and they're buying things or making whatever, but they're not trying to help anybody. If you want to help people, you have to give them the truth. But it's up to them to do something with it. Okay? That's all we got for right now. If you want to get in touch with us, get any of the new brimstone stuff to burn the stuff out of you, you can reach us through the Etsy store, clumencreations.etsy.com. If you want to connect to some light music to help soothe the savage beast. You can listen to Lumen's album for free on SoundCloud. And we did start another channel that I'm going to be posting that music to. When I have some extra time, fill that back up. So it's just something completely separate from this channel. Maybe other people will find it that way. Links to that new one is going to be in the description box below as well. Chris and Lumen, see you next time.